Plato, 423 BC to 348 BC, was once a classical Greek philosopher, mathematician, pupil of Socrates, creator of philosophical dialogues, and founder of the Academy in Athens, the first group of graders studying in the Western world. Along with his mentor, Socrates, and his student, Aristotle, Plato helped to lay the foundations of Western philosophy and science. Plato influenced a total variety of topics from philosophy to maths, good judgment and ethics. The most secure, established characterization of the European philosophical way of life is that it consists of a sequence of footnotes to Plato. Alfred North Whitehead. Early existence of Plato. The early existence of Plato is solely in part recorded. However, he was once born in 428–427 BCE to an aristocratic household in Athens. His father's aspect claimed descent from the god Poseidon and the closing kings of Athens. Some sources recommend that his actual identity used to be Aristocles, and that Plato used to be a nickname given to him later in life. Plato roughly interprets as the broad. It may additionally have been a reflection of the breadth of pursuits that Plato considered. He used to be given a right education, and he quickly impressed these round him with his velocity of mastering and readability of thought. He was once additionally drawn to the logician Socrates. Socrates was once an awesome and impartial thinker who gathered a crew of younger guys to speak and talk about philosophy. Plato was once deeply impressed through the personality, spirit and philosophic detachment of his mentor Socrates. As Plato writes, "O expensive Pan, and all the different gods of this place, supply that I may also be lovely inside. Let all my exterior possessions be in pleasant concord with what is within. May I think about the clever man rich. As for gold, let me have as an awful lot as an average man ought to endure and elevate with him." Plato, Phaedrus, a prayer of Socrates, as portrayed in the dialogue. Plato used to be deeply damaged after Socrates' trial in 399 BC, the place he was once condemned for corrupting the adolescents of Athens and sentenced to demise, being compelled to drink hemlock. After the loss of life of Socrates, Plato left Athens, disgusted with the mob mentality of Athenian democracy. He traveled extensively round the Mediterranean region, journeying Greece, Italy and Egypt. He got here into contact with followers of Pythagoras, and he was once influenced with the aid of some of their philosophic ideas. Relationship with Socrates. Socrates seems in most of Plato's writings, and it is clear that Socrates and his Socratic dialogues had a large impact on Plato's personal writing and fashion of teaching. It is solely through Plato that we get a clear concept of Socrates' philosophy and way of life. In Apology of Socrates, Plato writes an account of Socrates defending himself in a trial which subsequently led to his very own death. It offers Socrates as a mannequin philosopher, evenly placing the beliefs of justice above any private desire. It would be higher for me, that multitudes of guys must disagree with me as an alternative than that I, being one, ought to be out of concord with myself. Plato, words spoken by way of Socrates. The gorges, however, Plato used to be no longer in simple terms transcribing the phrases of Socrates. He was once additionally the use of his very own interpretations and thoughts to these which he discovered from him. Plato, Academy, the school of Athens by Raffaello Sanzio da Urbino. The School of Athens through Raphael. Plato and Aristotle are depicted together in the 380s. Plato back to Athens, the place he situated the Academy, a faculty of learning, philosophy and research. It used to be a pioneer of future universities and grew to become a magnet for the main minds of the time. The polymath Aristotle spent 20 years at Plato's academy, and thanks for watching. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Like it. Edition heightened its reputation. It was once at the academy that Plato wrote his top-notch works and taught a variety of students. Plato's central doctrines. Raphael Plato. In the academy picture, Plato wrote on an entire variety of topics. However, it is his ethics and prevalent philosophy which appeared to be his largest interest. Plato used to be basically a rationalist who felt the function of philosophy was once to assist human beings to stay a precise life. He sought to make feel of the world via purpose and empiricism, and he used this simple strategy to a variety of specific topics. On metaphysics, he noticed a difference between the physique, corporeal world, and the soul. To Plato, the soul should grow to be captive to the cloth wishes of the body, and to achieve lasting happiness, the higher wisdom of the soul and idea need to be in manage of a man's decreased passions. The inexperienced in knowledge and virtue, ever occupied with feasting and such, are carried downward, and there, as is fitting, they wander their complete existence long, neither ever searching upward to the reality above them, nor rising towards it, nor tasting pure and lasting pleasures. Plato, the Republic. Plato additionally noticed a big difference between the imperfection of the cloth world and the absolute best beliefs which transcend cloth imperfections. Plato felt that anybody of a philosophic mind may want to differentiate between outward barriers and the best beliefs of beauty, truth, solidarity and justice. It is a philosophy which suggestions at the barriers of the fabric and the intellectual world and encourages an aspiration to greater ideals. I solely want that knowledge have been the variety of element that flowed from the vessel that used to be full to the one that used to be empty. Plato, the Symposium. He additionally mentions that the lifestyles we stay is primarily based on preceding options in both this incarnation or preceding incarnations. Plato's philosophy was once additionally closely influenced with the aid of Pythagoras, particularly his spiritual views on transmigration. In politics, Plato developed the concept of a philosopher king, anyone who would be a knowledge lover and enhance the crucial traits to rule over his humans with knowledge and justice. This may also have partly been a response to the demographic democracy he noticed in Athens and a hesitation to count on the wisdom of the crowds that prevailed in Athens at the time. He made the analogy that the philosopher king was once like a ship's captain or doctor, someone who is aware of pleasant what his affected person needs. Until philosophers rule as kings, or these who are now known as kings and main guys truly and appropriately philosophize, that is, till political strength and philosophy completely coincide, whilst the many natures who at current pursue both one solely are forcibly avoided from doing so, cities will have no relaxation from evils, nor, I think, will the human race. Republic 473 CD, to defend towards philosopher kings turning into tyrants. Plato additionally referred to that they ought to be challenged to the rule of regulation that limits the ruler's actions. Style of teaching. Plato didn't write treatises and lectures, however wrote in an oblique way, encouraging the reader to ask questions and assume for himself. Inspired via Socrates, he makes use of casual dialogue and humorous anecdote. Like his instructor, Socrates, Plato was once pleased to play the function of observer as a substitute than a preacher. There is additionally symptoms of improvement and adjustments in thought, even though some of this is due to uncertainty over whether or not letters ascribed to Plato have been definitely written through him. Plato and Aristotle. Aristotle didn't agree with many conclusions of his teacher For example, Aristotle felt the soul used to be an intrinsic phase of the body. However, even though Aristotle disagreed with Plato in some regards, he revered him as a supreme authority and person. His esteem for Plato used to be so splendid that he felt it would be blasphemy in the excessive even to reward him. After Plato's death, Aristotle began his very own college, the Lyceum. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Like it.